Okay, so we're here at episode 15, and it's the start of building combinations, bazooka style. So I have Troy here right off the bat. We're going to show different ways and discuss how we use our lead hand and our rear leg. So this is going to discuss how we can either use a jab, we can use a lead hook or an uppercut, now that we know how to throw this from the series properly. And that's going to set up our power side kicking or our power side knee. So we're looking at using our round kicks or our knees off of a lead hand attack. And we're going to start basic and we're going to build it up. The most basic in bazooka style kickboxing when it comes to combinations is going to be our jab and our round kick. So we're going to start with that, and then the other combinations will be easier once we discuss it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is that footwork, just like every other episode. So we're going to only step once. And what we're going to do is we're going to jab, and as I jab, I'm going to step on the ball of my foot and lengthen my stance. From this lengthened stance, this is when I'm going to throw my round kick from here. Back where my foot started and back to my defensive stance, and that's the key. So we're going to start from a defensive, load up with my jab, and kick. So it's very similar when you watch the round kick video. We step and then threw the kick. Same concept, but instead of just stepping, you're adding the jab. But the biggest mistake people make is they jab, and then they step with their jab, and then they step with their kick. So there's having to step twice to do the jab round kick, where I'm telling you, I only want you to step once. So I'm stepping on the ball of the foot, good connection to the floor, and throwing my round kick. I'll throw a few for you guys to see it in full motion. Keeping my good hand position nice and tight. And the key is, after I kick, I return right to my stance, right back to my defensive positioning. One more. Okay, so that's the basic one. So I'm going to challenge you guys to only step once, and that's only stepping with the punch. Like I said in the kick episode, to get more power with your kick, you need to have more of a lengthened stance, and it's the jab that sets that up. We're going to apply the same technique now with our right knee. So it's going to be a jab, right knee. Still focusing on one step. As you can see, one of the keys, I'm always on the ball of my foot. This way I can get and counterbalance myself back to my original position. One more. For the knee, it is a shorter weapon. If you feel like you need to step in a little bit, it's not as bad as doing it with the round kick. So for example, if I jab and they're still far away, I might step in again in order to close my distance and get more power. So the second form of techniques, which is my favorite, and you got to think, these are how combinations usually end. And if you talk about all the ways that Dutch style kickboxing, it ends with the left hook, right kick. So now we're just going to throw the end of the combination, and you have to be able to flow between your punches and your kicks, and that's what makes kickboxing beautiful to watch. That's what makes kickboxing so amazing, is how we can switch levels so efficiently and so quickly. So let's go with our left hook, right kick. As you can see, I'm only stepping on my jab. Same technique with the right knee. Okay, the third one is we're going to use the same type of concept, but we're going to throw lead uppercut, round kick. Again, from that lead hook episode, I'm not looking at here. I need you to turn that shoulder, load it up to get more power on that lead hook. Okay, with the knee now. Okay, now we're going to put the two together. The three together. We can add jab, hook, uppercut. We can add jab, hook, jab, uppercut. You can put all three together. The pad holder's gonna decide which 2 or 3 we're gonna throw, and we can follow with a rear kick or a rear knee. Which ones?
Jab, uppercut, hook. Jab, hook. Hook knee. Hook, jab.
Only 2 now. So that was 3 in a row. Troy's only going to do 2, so it's a little quicker. What's that, sir?
Hook, jab. Jab, hook. Hook, hook, knee. Jab, hook.
You said knee? That'd be louder.
Jab, hook. Hook, uppercut.
There you have it, different lead attacks to rear kicks or knees. Okay, so just like all the other attacks, we like to do it with partner drilling. This way it's a little bit more interactive and you get to see where you're landing, especially with the kick. So we're gonna start very basic. Troy and I are just gonna flow with different lead hand to rear attack setups. So Troy, let's start with jab round kick. And you can see Troy and we're gonna be using the low kick right now. Doesn't matter, I can always take the body too. For example, now I can kick the body. Okay, I can kick the leg or the body, up to you. Double jab. Jab, hook, kick. To make it more advanced, I can even take the hook to the body. Changing levels even with my hook and my kick. Okay, same thing at a knee. Use the hands. Good. Okay, let's go jab, uppercut, knee. Okay, add a kick or let's add a kick to that one. Okay, now to make this now an advanced drill, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get Troy to keep his hands nice and tight, and we're just gonna be able to flow any technique, any level, whether it's a kick or a knee, lead hand to rear. So you're gonna hold tight. Sorry. Okay, so here's Troy. He's using the wrecking ball, and he's gonna focus on lead hand, rear knee, mixing in different flows. I want him a little bit more active with his lead hand and focusing. He's gonna constantly change up what lead hand he's attacking, double, triples, singles, whatever he prefers. So I'm just going to be using the Thai bag or your long bag. This is probably the best tool to use to work this type of combination drilling. Lead hand, rear kick. This way I can change levels on my kicks and I can be active and change levels with my lead hand attacking. For those who know my style of fighting, this is the basis to all of my combinations, and a lot of that, what people call that Dutch style kickboxing, is that left hook, round kick. And I'm just going to flow. I'm going to go kick, lead hand, kick, which is one of my favorites. Too many times when people are hitting the bag, focusing on lead hand, rear kick, they only punch to kick. I challenge you guys now to kick, punch, kick, because this way, you know, you're really changing the pace of the fight. And usually when people kick, it's the end of a combination, but in our case, it's just the beginning. Okay, now I'm going to discuss some common mistakes, and the biggest mistakes come from our stepping and our footwork. And so what you're going to see, the biggest mistake people do is they step for the first punch and then they have to step again for the kick. So like I said, when we're doing the drilling, I'm challenging you to only step once. Step with the jab, trust your stance, and launch from there. The second one is people jab and then they pause a little bit to kick. This is combination fighting now. The two strikes have to flow. So try to improve the timing and the speed that this combination is going to throw. You're going to be able to throw more efficiency. You're going to be able to throw more strikes in your combination if you can flow better between it. And one of the good techniques is even when I jab, I use that movement to drive my next technique. And that's why opposite style combination help you with volume style striking. Next week we're going to be discussing same side, rear hand and the other, left kick. So that's the base to good, clean, smooth combinations. The other thing I want you to keep in mind, which is a big mistake, when you add multiple strikes to a combination, hand position starts going all over the place. So make sure you keep good attention to where your hand positioning is. So if I'm kicking, my hands are staying tight throughout. I'm not moving my hands so much as the combinations build, which I'll show more as we get into more advanced combination fighting.
Good.
All right, there you have it, episode 15, the start of building combinations. One of my favorite ways to throw combinations, using my lead hand to set up my rear attacks, especially my right low kick. So left hook, right low kick, my favorite combination style fighting. Remember, you can't, yes, this is just a piece of combination fighting, but it's a very important piece. To be able to flow from punch to kick, kick to punch is what makes kickboxing so beautiful. And this is what really shows me the difference between more of a mediocre fighter to an advanced fighter. In my opinion, too many fighters out there either just throw their hands, just throw their kicks, or it's a single kick. There's no follow-up, and kickboxing is made for combinations, for flow. So start putting combinations together, and I want you guys to start adding them into your fights. Punch to kick combinations, kick to punch. We'll get more advanced as the series progresses, but this is the base to good combination fightings. Really break it down, keep it very simple. Lead hand, rear kick, or lead hand, rear knee. Start to good combinations. Next week we're going to work on our rear hand to the lead side attacking, so straight rights to left kick. We have hooks to kicks, hooks to knees, punch to knees. So that's a good start to combination building. When we put them all together, you'll be able to flow with all weapons, anywhere, anytime. Bazooka style kickboxing. Hope you're enjoying the series, and let's continue to grow.